Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where I break down all the goals. Today, well, it'll be the Champions League. And before we get into the actual goal breakdown, I want to show you this little move here that's unfolding. And I want to show you the purpose of getting back early as a defensive midfielder or a midfielder, and what happens if you don't. So right now, we're going to create a goal scoring opportunity. It's in the first couple of seconds of the game, and you can see we've got three people here trying a bit of an overload, and we've only really got two. Okay, this guy needs to have come back a little bit quicker and track his runner, and he hasn't. This is super important, right? Because if you're this midfielder here, and you can get behind your guy, right, with two of your players up here, you're making an overload of a 3v2. So it doesn't matter what happens, you've always got any extra pass, as long as the ball goes inside and not outside. What do I mean by that? Right, so if the ball's starting on the outside, you can pass it inside and you've got the two. If the ball's on the inside and it's going to the outside, you can't create the goal scoring opportunity because you're going away from the goal. Okay, it's much harder. It's much easier when the ball's on the outside and you've got the two people on the inside, because every pass is towards the goal instead of away from the goal. Right, so let's move this on just so I can show you a little bit more. Again, you can see that midfielder he's almost stopped his run. He's kind of checking, but when the ball comes in here, I think it's into Harry Kane. He immediately is playing a one-touch pass in behind because there's no one to go with him. He can't track the runner because, well, he's got to go towards the ball, which was his first job. He can't get over really quick enough because, well, his first job was here, and this guy hasn't got back. That's how quick and easy it was to open up the Real Madrid defence in a couple of seconds, but the rest of the game, it wasn't. Just thought I'd show you that little bit there, because if you're this midfield runner, if you in a game, you see that run quite easily. As long as you can get in behind with the ball out there, it's really easy to sort of recreate this trigger plan here and make that happen. Let's get on to the goals. Okay, so here we are. This is the first goal we're looking at. We will look at Vinny Jr. He's right here, and I think the defender's Kim. There's a couple of, well, there's so many problems that Kim does here as the defender. He's just trying to be clever, and he gets completely nutty caught out. One of the simple things in football is simple. The reason why some of the old tactics and the old things work is because it's all about creating space. And there's only so many ways you can do it. And a lot of the simple ways are still the best ways. So one of the old simple ways is if I run here, the defender follows me, we play the ball in behind, and I just get my run on my defender, and I can run and smash the ball into the net box. That is all that's happening here. Vinny Jr. is running in, this guy ends up going with him, and the space appears behind him. But I want to show you why the space appears. Okay, so Kim reads the danger. He actually sees that this pass is about to happen, okay? Look at that. Do you see? Look, he's starting to sprint. He's starting to go towards Vinny Jr. right here before this ball's even passed, right? Boom, boom, boom. See, look, now he's off to the races. He's trying to get there as fast as he possibly can, but the guy on the ball's too good for that. So Kropes basically sees that this pass is no longer on, but identifies that space is on because this defender's come running out. What he really should have been doing is yelling at this defender, a defensive midfielder or midfielder to come across and do his job properly. He shouldn't be stepping out from the back line. So let me just draw the back line a second as well, because you can do that if you're pressuring the ball. But remember, the ball is here. That isn't the point of pressure for the ball. So if you're doing that, let me just draw this so you can see it. All right, so imagine you've got your back four. Okay, one stepped out, and the other guy's here, the other guy's here. The other guy needs to be dropped about there to try to cover that gap there. But you don't have that distance, and there's no pressure on the ball, so for the time for him to cover, you can't really do that. Okay, so it's absolutely null and void. If you're stepping out, you're just opening up the space. Yeah, huge problems he's just caused right there. And at the point of the pass, look how deep this centre defender has come. All the way to there. That you cannot give players of, Vinny Jr. and Tony Kropes, they're quality world-class players. You cannot give them that much space to exploit on your team, because they will exploit it. And exploit it they do. Look at everyone's reaction straight away. World-class pass. All he has to do now is slot it in the way first time. First time finish. The defender's reaction is also priceless. Like, look at him. What are you doing? That's how important it is to keep your shape. You must keep your shape, because if you don't, you leave gaps. And if you have good players on the other side, they'll exploit those gaps and make you look foolish. And the other thing as well is, if you do it when you're playing bad teams, you get in a habit of doing it. And then you do it against good teams and you get punished. So you do the right things. That's why you'll just keep repeating and do the right things over and over again in football. You will be rewarded. Right, let's go on to the next goal. So for Leroy Sané's goal, I want to show you the point of why this happens, really, is because Bayern Munich, they're over on this one side and they move the ball and they get it out wide really quickly to the other side. And you can see all the Real Madrid midfielders and kind of attackers are all on that one side. Now, when you do the switch of play, the most important thing to do is you want it on the furthest player forward, right? which they have, why do you want it on the furthest player forward? Well, because then the midfielders really can't get back goal side and defend you. And as soon as you get the ball, you need to be attacking and running at the back line or at the goal as fast as possible. So now we can see when the ball's got here, this is almost a perfect switch of play. Okay. Oh, by the way, I want to go on a rant about, you hear these idiots talking about double pivot in midfield. There's no such thing as the double pivot. Get a piece of wood, put 2 nails in it, and see if you can pivot it. You can't. You can't have 2 things in a pivot, on a pivot point. It's called a point. That's there for a reason. You've got 1 board, 1 football. You can't pivot around 2 things. Like, oh God, I'm gonna have to do a video about how dumb everybody is. So obviously, 1v1 again. I want to show you this defender as well, because he kind of tries to do the right thing. The overlap comes in, and that's what gets him here. This is a successful overlap that doesn't get the ball, and I want you to show you this so you can see it, and you can see the actual. We call them sort of visual IQ triggers or visual triggers, so you can see when to go past the defender and how to beat the defender, and does he fall for the overlap. Okay, so this is the key moment right here where he's been done by the overlap. This one guy here is obviously 2v1, and you can see Sane's got right behind him now because he's just gone a little step too far forward because he's still trying to cover this guy at the same time, and his body shape is facing this way when he really wants to be facing that way, and show it so when Sane comes inside, because that's where he's looking to go, he can make a tackle or do something with it. He's not showing him down the line, because if he was, he'd have been about here. The player would have been about here. Look at me, magic stick figures. He'd be about here if he's trying to show him down the line, but he's got done by this overlap. Do you see that? He's actually gone a little bit too far forward by about 2 steps, because this guy's gone and he thinks that's where the ball's going. And you can see it, right? Watch, as we move this forward, watch. Do you see how he does that little magic movement? He does a little turny-whirny spinny thingy, and he goes like that, where he really wanted to be going, or actually not that way, definitely not that way. What he really wanted to do, instead of going one way, he wanted to be going that way and going on the outside and pushing him, but he's just gone 1 step too far forward, and to be fair, Sane's strike is fantastic. Comes onto the inside here and smashes it in right into the net box. I mean, he's hit that properly. So someone like, I don't care who you are, you ain't saving that. It's a really well struck goal. I think this is a weak penalty. I really do, and I just get frustrated when I see weak penalties. The ref's vision, though, he's brilliant. He's right there. You can see the whole thing, and he gives it straight away. This is the point of contact, though. You can see, and it's not just a point of contact. He kind of gets run over by another player at the same time. But let's just move this ball. Dosh, there's the contact. He does go down a little bit too easy, but yeah, you know what? Don't dangle your leg out. It looks too obvious as well. The gate here between his 2 feet is massive. If you're going to foul him, make it a little less obvious. Cool as you like, Harry Kane steps up and smashes it into the net box. Honestly, it's not a great penalty. I'm going to talk about the Vinny Jr. one right now, but that is not a good penalty. He sits the keeper down properly, he really does, and rolls it into the other side. But it's not really into the corner, and it's only, look, just there. It's not hit with any sort of power. He just, look, if the keeper gets that right and goes the right way, well, clearly he doesn't because he sits him down. That's some real good technique. When you're taking penalties and you're able to sit the keeper down and choose your side, that's some cold ice in your veins there. Again, the ref's in perfect position to see this penalty. He's looking straight at Jude Bellingham, all the way to there. Dosh, as he basically gets mugged. It's the same guy, Kim, as well, that gave away the first goal. Now he gives away the penalty. The reason he's a yard ahead of this Kim character, he really should have been trying to tackle and win the ball, not foul the player. He's trying to grab hold of his giblets on the one hand, his bum on the other, and it's just a bit of a wrestling move right here that's going on. And on it fights Dosh, and you can see he ends up bringing him down. Again, this is not a great penalty. It is really well taken, but what I mean by a great penalty is that if the keeper doesn't go down and these guys don't have cold as ice in their veins, the keeper's going to get it. Look, watch this, Dosh. Look how weak that is. It is right in a perfect height for the goalkeeper to save. Right there. The keeper goes the other way, completely sold by the... See, that's what you say, is it a bad penalty? Well, yes, but it's not, because he's managed to get the keeper to go the wrong way. And would he have done that if he hadn't have sent the keeper the wrong way? Probably not. So it's one of those things where you're talking about it and it makes no sense, because every single thing you say is wrong and contradictory based on whether or not the keeper goes the right way or not. So there we go. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.